Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This footage is taken from a ranked game. This is one of the first placement matches that I did here in set 8. And in this game we're going to be looking at a Sureshot team composition, one that features the Sureshot champions like Sivir and Samira and eventually Aphelios. So we're going to get to that in a minute, but I'll be walking a little bit through this particular team composition. It's a setup that is strong in the late game, but is kind of difficult to reach because it doesn't have a lot of good early game units. So the challenge of playing Sureshots is basically how do you get to level 8 and level 9 so that you can cap out your board without taking too much damage and not being in a position where you can make it to like level 9, which is where the board really wants to go. But of course it's going to be tricky to get there as usual. Anyway, so ranked game. Everybody should, at least in theory, be taking the game seriously. I know some people actually don't take the ranked games very seriously, but I always try to do my best in these games. I was able to get my preferred starting item at the moment, which is a belt. Belt is really useful, helps you get strong frontline. I know I've been saying this in the videos for people who watch these, but I do feel like strong frontline is the most important thing here at the beginning of set 8. Maybe they'll change this with time, but it just feels like upgraded 2-star frontliners with good defensive abilities are what allows you to get off win streaking in the early game and really helps you out. And to some extent, you can kind of like fill in whatever you want behind it. But if you don't have good frontline, then you just kind of get plowed over by those who do. So I am looking to take defensive items off that first carousel. And it's like, look at this. Now I've got a Sunfire here. So now if I can just find some 2-star units to play behind that. I found 2 poppies, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then I also find a Wukong. So I was like, all right, well, I can run Defender here in the early game. I'm also guaranteed to get some gold here. And I see there's a Sivir in the store. I was like, okay, well, if I make Sunfire and then I use Sivir as my early game item holder, that's, I've got a sword, so I'm kind of leaning naturally towards a physical damage team, not a magic damage team. I mean, I'm sure I could head in that direction. I could always look to take like a Tear or a Rod, make a Spear of Shojin or a Gunblade. But I was like, I think it makes more sense to try to do a physical damage composition. So we'll pick up the Sivir, we'll pick up the Fiora, and then, look at this, Sureshot Heart. Your team counts as having 1 additional Sureshot, gain a Sivir. Well, this is perfect. This is going to give me an extra rank of the Sureshot trait. I wasn't sure if I was going to be playing into this trait, but as soon as I hit the Sivir, hit the augment, which is +1 Sureshot, I am now guaranteed that, yes, this is the direction I want to go. I've already found 1 Sivir. This actually gives me another Sivir, and it's going to put the Sureshot trait in play, even though I only have 1 Sureshot unit. So what does this trait do? Well, I'm highlighting it. Thank you, past me. Combat start, gain bonus attack damage now and every 4 seconds. So every 4 seconds, your Sureshot units gain 10% attack damage, equivalent to the old 10 AD, but now AD in set 8 is all on a percentage basis. Normally, you would have to have 2 Sureshot units to get this, but I don't need that now that I have the Sivir. And the augment, I get it from just having 1 Sureshot unit. So that's quite nice as far as having this. Sureshot as a trait, as I said, is really more of like a mid to late game trait. And the main reason for that is there are no 1-cost units that have the trait. There's a 2-cost, a 3-cost, a 4-cost, and a 5-cost unit, but there's no 1-cost Sureshot. And there's only 4 of these units overall, so it's not like a heavy vertically scaling trait. There's only a handful of these units. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up some other stuff now. You're also going to see me tab out of the game at a couple different points because I was trying to look at a reference cheat sheet. Unfortunately, when I tab out of the screen, it stops recording, so my apologies here. We go back to the live footage here. Only disrupts it a little bit, but yeah, I think it happens like one other time. I'm glancing back over. I was trying to figure out what units I would be looking to play alongside having this board. So what do I have right now? Well, I have pretty good frontline. The big thing is I hit the 2-star Poppy. That's quite nice. And then I also managed to find an early Riven in the store as well. So that's able to replace the Wukong with Riven, who is a better unit, albeit a more expensive unit. And then I also have in a Galio for the civilian trait, which you can't see because, as I said, I tabbed out of the screen because I was looking at this off-screen reference. Again, apologies for that. I think that's the last time I did that while I was playing. Wish I was on a second monitor for this, but I was on my laptop when I was playing this game, and that means I do not have a second monitor for that. All right, anyway, though, so we covered what the Sureshot trait did. Defender trait, this is the trait that just provides armor, gives armor to the whole team, and double the benefit to actual defender units. It is a tank trait. And then the other one I have in is civilian trait, which is a mana generating trait. I don't know if I've discussed this. in some of the previous stuff that I put together for this set. So if you haven't seen this trait before, Civilian, official description reads, if there is a civilian alive, your team is inspired to protect them by gaining mana every 2 seconds. Civilian 1 is 2 mana every 2 seconds, which doesn't really do a whole lot. And Civilian 2 is 4 mana every 2 seconds. The big jump is Civilian 3. That gives you 10 mana every 2 seconds, which is quite a lot. But that requires playing Janna. It also requires playing all 3 units. There's only 3 Civilian units. So that is the Galio we have in there right now, along with the Sivir, and then also Janna. So 1 cost, a 2 cost, and a 5 cost. Kind of a weird trait. But that said, 10 mana every 2 seconds for your whole team is pretty nice. So if you have a team composition that's going to be running these units anyway, it can be pretty strong. I'm actually looking to play into that in this game. It is the Sureshot team composition is one that actually does make use of that, because you want to run Sivir. If you want to run 4 Sureshots, Sivir gets you the rank of civilian trait. And then you probably want to run Janna anyway, because she's a late game unit that, 5 cost legendary unit, useful to have on your team anyway. So then you only have to play the Galio as basically a dead unit, and even Galio can give you civilian trait and mascot trait. Mascot combines with Alistar, and you want Alistar to give Oxforce trait to Aphelios in the late game. So it actually slots in pretty neatly, and this is one of the few setups that really would look to run 3 civilian here. All right, so on this carousel, I actually do have the option to take a spatula, but there's not really anything I can do with that spatula. This is a team composition that doesn't really have much use for a spatula. I guess you could look to make an Oxforce emblem, and then maybe look to run 4 Oxforce instead of 2 Oxforce. But I decided that I would just take the glove, and I'd use it to make Infinity Edge. And this way, the physical damage from Sivir can crit. Well, since we've got a minute here, let's cover Sivir's actual ability. Just go ahead and read her description. She is basically a utility unit, but she does provide some damage. Abilities are civilian and sure shot. Her ability is called Pizza Delivery. This is a very amusingly designed unit. Costs 70 mana. Sivir throws her pizza at the target, deals physical damage. It then splits into slices and gets delivered to the nearest allies, healing them. So the pizza hits, deals physical damage, and then heals 3 allies. And you deal a percentage of AD. So again, Sivir, not like a full-on damage dealer, as I said, more of like a utility unit, really. But, she can hold AD items. You probably don't want her holding the items long-term, but she can hold them for at least the early game. Ideally, I would find an early Samira and be able to transfer the items over to Samira. Now, it looked like we were going to lose this fight, right? Looked like we were going to lose this, but Blitzcrank is one of the purest tanks in this game. And it turns out that he's able to tank long enough for Sivir to kill everything. So yeah, that worked out well. And in fact, taking the early Thief's Glove actually turned out to be a good thing, because I definitely don't win that round if Sivir doesn't have Infinity Edge and is critting on her abilities. So if I had taken the Spatula, it would have been stronger long-term, potentially, but it wouldn't have done anything to help me win that fight. And honestly, just continuing the win streak here, probably more valuable than anything I would have gotten out of the spatula anyway. But again, that's kind of getting ahead of ourselves. All right, so now I really want to win this round so that I can keep my win streak going here into the minion stage. I really would like to be on a 5-match win streak. The good news is I've hit someone who is only level 4, so it looks like they're econing, and I'm pretty sure I've got this person. They actually are one of the stronger people in the lobby, believe it or not, but that's just because they have 2-star Ashe. Ashe is considered to be a bit overpowered for a 1-cost unit in this particular build of Teamfight Tactics. Fortunately for me, the 2-star Ashe has rolled very bad items on her Thief's Glove. She rolled a Brawler's Glove and a Redemption, which are terrible items for a backline unit standing in the corner who is not going to be healing anyone with that Redemption. So good luck for me. I don't hit one of the stronger boards. I win easily, and the win streak continues all the way through the minion round. All right, so it's been a great stage 2. This is a dream start. Things are going well. We've got a front line that's pretty solid. I wouldn't mind upgrading a little bit, but 2-star Poppy, 2-star Blitz, they will fall off eventually, but they're good for now. The biggest thing that I need, though, is more damage, and that's because Sivir, she does have the Sure Shot trait in, but Sivir's not that much of a damage dealer, so I really need someone else in my comp to help carry the damage load. So I'm just going to pick up this Kai'Sa. I have none of Kai'Sa's traits in play. Like, I don't have Star Guardian, I don't have Recon, but I'm still going to grab her because she will at least deal some additional damage, and I feel like that's what my comp needs the most right now. I'm really looking to try to find Senna because that would give me another Sure Shot unit, and then I'd actually be kind of close to being able to put in the laser core trait as well, potentially. But no, I'm not going to get that. And then I actually sell both Fioras. I should have held the Fioras just in case I hit another Fiora here, because it wouldn't have cost me gold to hold them. But I don't, and fortunately I'm not punished here. So I'll go ahead, going to toss in the Kaisa, and she'll just deal some additional damage. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing anything else in the story that's really going to help me here. So just plug in there Kaisa and do the best you can. We'll see what happens. I will, of course, level to 6 here because I'm on full win streak, and I would like to preserve win streak if possible. Although some of these other boards I do think are probably as strong or maybe stronger than me. If I were to hit another Sivir, that would definitely help a lot. Sivir 2-star would be a nice increase in damage. By the way, this person in the lobby is basically playing my board as well. If you've noticed, they're also playing a Sureshot board. They have a 2-star Sivir, who also has Infinity Edge, by the way. And they have a reasonably strong front line as well. But the good news is I do have that Sunfire Cape. I've also got the extra unit because I leveled to 6. I was able to do that again because I was on the full win streak. So I kind of got that edge. And it looks like that's going to be enough to carry me through this round. So this is someone I would very much like to knock, or not knock out of the lobby. It's very early in the game, but deal as much damage to as possible, just because we're going to be contesting for similar units. It looks like they're also playing into a Sureshot comp. They actually have 5 Sivers, so maybe that's why I'm not seeing Sivers. Holding all those Sivers over there, geez. Well, here's our second augment, and I've got an interesting choice here. I don't think it's first aid kit. I also don't want to reroll this. Celestial Blessing would not be bad. Celestial Blessing would cause me to heal on auto attacks. But in addition to that, there's also the option to take Electro Charge. And I thought about this for maybe like 5 seconds, and I was like, I think that getting Celestial Blessing would be better long-term because I'm trying to play into Aphelios and Samira, and they're going to do a lot of damage, which could turn into healing via Celestial Blessing. But it's not really going to do anything to help me right now, whereas my board's pretty tanky, and tanky boards tend to be the ones that benefit the most from Electro Charge. Electro Charge is when enemy units hit you and crit, they take reflected magic damage in the form of little electric procs. So I was like, I think it makes more sense to take Electro Charge because that's what's going to make me stronger right now. And that's what's going to help me potentially win streak and be able to get to higher levels where I can put together my final board. Remember, Sureshot is a late game setup. The big challenge is getting there, getting to the late game. So I was like, better to be strong right now and help me win streak. I think if I can make it to level 9, I'm going to be like top 2 or 3 regardless. So let's do something that helps me get to level 9. Not something that's going to cap me out even harder when I do reach level 9. Anyway, that was the thinking. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that was what I went with there, and it does seem to be working. I do think it's helping me preserve win streak to some extent. All right, well, anyway, getting some interesting stuff in the store. I did sell the Kaisa and put in a Zoe because I think Zoe's going to deal more damage. This is also going to allow me to put in the Echo. Echo will create the Prankster trait, which is going to be pretty nice. Echo, just a great unit in and of himself. Right now in the data, I look at the data on MetaTFT just to get a sense for like what units are performing better, which ones are performing worse. Right now, Echo is the highest performing non-legendary unit in the game. Just like across all team compositions, he has the average highest finish of any unit in the game. He has an average finish of like 4.04, which is just incredible. So he's like right up there with legendary units. And it's just his traits are awesome. Prankster trait is great. Aegis trait is great. Star Guardians, if you're playing into that, also very useful. So he's just a really, really useful unit. You can play him on almost any board conceivable, so make good use of this unit. I'm definitely going to play that. And then it also opens up an interesting option, too. I've been picking up these Annies on my bench because I can actually get Gadgettine in with Annie. If I level and put her in, I'll get a Gadgettine item as well. Plus, Annie is also a useful unit to have, too. So I'm just kind of like playing this random frontline. I still have not seen a single Sureshot the entire game, aside from Sivir. I got a Sivir from, like the second minion round, and then I got one out of my initial augment, and I've seen no other Sureshots the entire game. So kind of hilarious that this is a game that's focused on Sureshots, and I've like not found any of them. But, that's Teamfight Tactics for you. It's all about adapting to the board you're playing and just trying to make the best of with what you have. By the way, there were 4 cloaks on this carousel, so I'm going to tell cloaks are us. I was like, well, I guess I'm getting a cloak on this carousel. Nobody else apparently thought that was too amusing. But anyway, so we'll go ahead and level here, toss in the Annie. Now we get the Gadgettine item. Also, importantly, we get the increased shot odds. And oh, look at this, by the way. We just got a freaking Warmogs out of this. That is really, really valuable. Poppy just like doubled her health with that. The cloak, I don't know what that'll be. Maybe it'll be a Gargoyle Stoneplate. Maybe it'll be a Dragon's Claw. I guess it could also turn into a Zephyr as well. I actually like the late game. The late game Zephyrs could be quite nice too, but we'll use some kind of frontline item with it. I guess it could even be Ionic Spark, although if I get a Rod, I'm more likely to make Rage Blade on Sivir. But anyway, we'll see what we can get. Still, having the Warmogs that came out of the Gadgeteen item is really, really important for this round, because look at how much stronger it's made Annie. Or not Annie, how much stronger it's made the Poppy. She just has so much health. I believe that the Gadgeteen Warmogs also regenerates a small amount of health every second. Yeah, I believe you do get a small amount of health regen every second on that. The other thing that's really helping my board is Zoe. Zoe is huge. Even though Zoe has no items and she doesn't have any of her traits in play, well, I guess she has... That's not true. She has Gadgeteen and Prankster in play, but neither one of them actually increases her damage. She has no traits that increase her damage and no items, but she's still actually doing an awful lot of damage in these fights. So she is just a great unit to toss on your board if you just need like additional damage or a traitless unit to come in and help you out. So I'm going to toss this Hand of Justice Gadgeteen item on her. By the way, look at my bench here. I've got 2 out of 3 Sivers, 2 out of 3 Gallios, 2 out of 3 Annies, 2 out of 3 of the Zoes. So I actually have quite a few pairs. And I've also found the early Zac as well. Zac is probably going to be one of my frontline tanks. Some traits have front lines that they naturally play into. So, for example, if you're playing an Anima Squad board, Riven's going to be one of your main frontline tanks. So Anima Squad naturally plays towards Brawlers and Defenders. Similarly, if you're playing Star Guardians, you're naturally going to play Rel. So Defender is a trait you're going to lean towards. You're naturally going to play Echo. So Aegis, a trait you're going to lean towards. Well, Sureshot trait doesn't really have any of that. Sureshot can play basically any frontline imaginable. So that's why Zac often is a good frontline tank for this board. By the way, this opponent, really, really sad. The Yuumi in the back lines, I just kept getting hit again and again, and then just kept healing off of having Thrill of the Hunt and the Gadgeteen Hand of Justice. So I finally do lose a round. The timing is horrible. It's right before the minion round. I really wish I could have won that, but nope, just couldn't do anything with it, unfortunately. By the way, I also have a Soraka in my store, too. So I was like, oh, wow, Soraka. Is there any way I can play this unit? And maybe I could have found some way to get this unit in, but ultimately I was like, I guess not. Also, I decided at this point I will drop the Riven in favor of Alistar. So I'm trading out Brawler trait and Defender trait in favor of Oxforce and Aegis trait. Is that an improvement? I'm not sure, but Alistar is going to stay on my board long term, whereas Riven is not. So I feel like it was worthwhile to make that replacement. Ah, there we go. There's my Rod. So we'll go ahead and look to make that Rage Blade. That'll be a nice item on either Samira or on Aphelios long term. And now I've got some extra stuff. I could make a Thief's Glove here. I think I'm going to put the Hand of Justice on Sivir. And I'm actually going to roll a little bit here on 7. That's just because I have so many pairs. I feel like I'm close to hitting a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, my roll down is not going great, although I do find a Senna. Look at all these pairs I've got on my board. I'm like, got to be able to do something better than this. Well, let's take out the Blitz. That'll at least clear out a little bit of bench space. I think a 2-star Blitz and a 1-star Sejuani are roughly equivalent in terms of strength level. Depends a little bit on what you're going for. Blitz is a bit more tankiness. The Sejuani is a bit more crowd control. But I'd say they're fairly close in terms of their effectiveness. Not in this fight, though, because Sedge died without getting her ult off, which is not what you want. But that does at least clear out a little more bench space, gives me a little bit of gold back. And Sedge might be in my comp long term, whereas Blitz is not going to be in my comp long term. Anyway, this is another close fight, but that person does have 2-star Sivir. This is, again, my mirror match person who is also playing a Sureshot board. But they have 2-star Sivir, and I do not, so I'm expecting them to win this round. But wait, no, we've got the Zoe. And it turns out that that's enough for us to win this round. Even though I've got the 1-star Sivir, we actually have nearly identical itemization. I have to think that the Hand of Justice that I picked up there from the Gadgeteen helped out as well. And then look at this. Oh, apparently it's like the prismatic equivalent of the champion augment. I actually get Janna as an option, and it is the Janna augment that doubles her forecaster benefit. So I was like, all right, let's make use of this. We can definitely improve our board here. Let's try to get some of these units in play. So we got to play the Janna. Let's play her. And I'm going to put Zac in. I'm going to put what tank items I have on Zac. There's also a Samira here. I'm going to go ahead and make use of these items. So I thought about the Thief's Glove, but I decided, no, we've got Infinity Edge. Let's make Last Whisper. Those always have great synergy together. And then I also want to try to get the Samira in play. I see there's a Samira in the store. We'll put in Galio. That's going to make 3 civilians, so we get all that mana generation. And then the last thing I need to do is I need to buy the Zac. I also need to put the Samira in, but I'm just a touch too slow for this. It's like right after the round started, I was like, Zoe comes out, Samira goes in. And that's the switch that we need to make. So I don't quite manage to get that off in time. But still, considering that I completely changed around my board, I think I replaced like half the units on my board. I think that was reasonably well done. It's still early in the set. I am not a professional player, so I don't have like amazing reflexes. And it looks like our team is still reasonably strong here. I mean, it looks like we're going to lose this round. We are not quite able to overcome the Ash, but it's close. And as I said, I was basically transitioning there. So I think that was reasonably well done. Good job, me. Pat myself on the back for a job well done. But yeah, anyway, that person is apparently like win streaking off a 2-star Ash. Ash should not be that strong. Also, I almost sell the Senna, but thankfully I do not, because I definitely want the Senna. All right, so let's finish up switching over our board. So Zoe out, Samira in. And then I was like, wait a minute, do I transfer the items over to Samira? And then I was like, yes. Yes, I do, because I just... Definitely better to have these items on Samira. Samira is an actual carry. Sivir is, again, more of a utility unit. So Samira will be my carry for the immediate future. And now the plan is we're going to go level 8 after the next round. We'll go level 8 after the carousel. And then we put in Senna, and that gets us 4 Sureshot. So this is one of the reasons why the Sureshot emblem is really nice. I'd say that there are 3 different reasons why this is nice. First reason is you can get Sureshot 2 in very easily. As I said, it's a little bit tricky to get Sureshot 2 in normally because you have to find both Sivir and the Senna. You have to find a 3-cost unit and a 2-cost unit. Now, that's, not undoable, but it's still a little bit tricky. It's like more something you're likely to get on stage 3 than stage 2. But with the +1 Sureshot, we get it in immediately. So that's like the first benefit is you can just find Sivir and you immediately have 2 Sureshot in. We'll come back to this point in a minute because we have a carousel here. As far as what I'm looking for here, I have fully itemized Samira. If we find an early Aphelios, we'll transfer those items to Aphelios, but they can stay on Samira otherwise. Since we have that, we're kind of looking for a frontline item here. I would have taken the Mordekaiser with the belt, but since that's not an option, I'm still looking for what I can get here. There's that Belveth. That would not be bad. That would give me Gargoyle's Stoneplate. I think that's the best option out of this. Could also take the Camille for Dragon's Claw, but it's a 4 gold Belveth as opposed to a 2 gold Camille, so I think it's better to take the best. Gargoyle Stoneplate probably a little bit better for solo frontliner anyway. And hey, look at that. We hit 2-star Zac anyway, so awesome. Now we're going to go ahead and level, and we'll put in the Senna. And let's see what else we can hit. Can we manage to hit... Oh, we hit 2-star Echo. That's fantastic. I also find an Urgot. I was like, oh, Urgot. Okay, well, there's 2-star Senna. Nice. And oh my god, it's another Urgot. I still have a champion duplicator from early in the game. We have to make use of this. So we're going to put in the Urgot. We're going to use the champion duplicator, and boom, 2-star Urgot. Okay, that's a high roll. That is very much a high roll. So we hit the 2 Urgots at 4% odds. I have the champion duplicator. Boom, 2-shot Urgot. That is, yeah, that's not something that's going to happen every game. But I saw the opportunity, and you shouldn't feel bad about good luck, right? If you get good luck, you have to take advantage of it. So yeah, now we have a 2-star Urgot who's a legendary unit available this early in the game, and so that's going to make the difference in a close round there as we pick up the treasure chest from Urgot. So I'll get back to Urgot in a minute. I did want to finish the point I had about Sureshot, because I said there were 3 benefits, and I only covered the first one. Okay, first benefit is you can play Sureshot 2 even with you only have Sivir or only have Senna. By the way, I also had 2-star Samira, so we're going level 9 here. All right, the next benefit is it allows you to play 4 Sureshot very easily in the late game. Because normally you have to find every Sureshot unit to get 4 Sureshot. You have to find Aphelios, who is a legendary unit. And the legendary units are by far the hardest units to find. The 5-quest units, you normally have to be either level 8, or for consistency's purposes, you have to be level 9 to find those units. So normally you have to, find Aphelios if you want to play 4 Sureshot. But I did not have to find Aphelios because I have +1 Sureshot. I just have Samira plus Sivir plus Senna. Wow, they all start with S. That's going to be confusing. But yeah, I have 4 Sureshot in, and I only have 3 Sureshot units, and I did not have to find Aphelios. So that's a huge advantage. It makes it infinitely easier to play the 4 Sureshot. By the way, look how close this round is. It's down to just Samira, and oh, she clutches it out on 10 HP. 10 out of 1,200. Oh my god. So anyway, that's the second benefit. 4 Sureshot is excellent. It doubles the benefit of Sureshot 2. Sureshot 4 is you get 20% AD, and then that increases every 4 seconds. So 20%, 4 seconds later, 20%, 4 seconds later, 20%. You get a lot of AD with Sureshot 4. Anyway, and then the third benefit is it allows you to cut one of the Sureshot units while still playing 4 Sureshot. And there's a very obvious candidate to do that, and that's Senna. Senna is the unit you want to drop unless you're specifically playing some kind of laser core board. You want to play Sivir because she gives you the civilian trait. Like, that's very handy. We have civilian 2 in right now, and that gives everybody mana generation. So Sivir's quite useful to have as a unit. Meanwhile, Samira is a 4-cost unit. She also has the Ace trait, so she executes units that are under 10% HP. So again, a very useful unit to have. Like, you don't mind having Samira on your board. And then Aphelios is a 5-cost legendary unit, so he's great to have too. But Senna doesn't really do anything for your board. So again, unless you're playing some kind of laser core setup. So again, it's very handy having the +1 Sureshot. So this trait, this is much better than a lot of the other +1 traits. Like, there's a bunch of things. It's like, let's say you get +1 laser core. It's like, okay, I mean, that helps, don't get me wrong. But like, +1 laser core doesn't really do anything that like fundamentally changes how the team works. +1 Sureshot is really, really nice. About the other trait that's like that is Ace. +1 Ace is great because then you can run 4 aces much more easily. It lets you cut Draven. By the way, there's a great Shroud of Stillness from this other player. It lets you cut Draven, and it also means that you can run 4 aces without finding Mordekaiser. So +1 Ace is kind of like the same thing. They're both really, really good if you can get them. So anyway, just a little monologue about that, but a good example of why this is a really, really nice benefit to get, especially from a silver augment. Like, that was my silver augment. All right, well, now we'll switch focus. Let's talk about this Urgot, because this is still early enough in the set that these units are new. Well, Urgot's a legendary unit. He is a threat, so he doesn't have any traits. He can be splashed onto lots of boards, and he is going to be a very popular unit in this set. I've seen, particularly on people who play the high elo challenger streams, basically whenever they see Urgot, they just throw him on the board. And the reason for that is Urgot is an economic unit. He generates econ for your team. His ability is called Undertow, and he summons the Gigantic Wave. I'll read the official description. If you've been watching these fights, you've probably noticed it. Active as Urgot summons a Gigantic Wave behind his enemies, deals a percentage of their maximum health as magic damage. The wave knocks enemies forward, 1 hex, stuns them, has a chance to dredge up treasure, either gold or item components. So it's a stun, it knocks up units, and it has a chance to drop gold or item components. The chests will either have 3 gold in them, or they'll have an item component. So again, just a great unit to play, can splash into a lot of teams. But, there might be better things to put on your team composition. Wow, Aphelios with 31 HP winning that fight. But almost never a bad unit to have on your team. Just, like I said, a very useful unit. So at 2-star, as I have right now, he has 15% odds to dredge up treasure whenever he hits an enemy unit. That's up from 10% at 1-star. He also increases his stun duration, and he also deals more damage. It is 15% of max health on the tidal wave, as opposed to at 1-star, it's only 10%. So, like in AoE stun, AoE magic damage, chance to get econ, very, very nice. The weird thing about Urgot, though, is he fires 5 attacks per second with his gun there. So he kind of interacts in a little bit of a weird way with a bunch of the items. I don't know exactly what that looks like. And by the way, this person's Mordekaiser just absolutely blows up my team. Yeah, actually killed almost the entire team instantly with that cast. So yeah, have to watch out for that. Have to watch out about clumping. So yeah, we're actually going to lose this round, somewhat unfortunately. We're trying to push to level 9 so that we can play stronger units. I have been grabbing these Leonas. I had been holding Gallios the whole game because I thought I might play Galio on level 9. Galio would give me Civilian 3 for all that mana generation. It would also give me the mascot trait. But I've already got 2 Leonas in the store, and it's like, would I really play Galio, a 1-cost unit, over Leona, a 5-cost? The answer to that is no. I'm definitely not going to play that over the Leona. So I'll just sell the Gallios, and Leona's going to be the next unit I put in. Just too good of a unit not to play it. Mordekaiser would also be a decent unit to play, but Mordekaiser would give me the Ace trait, and then that would disable Samira's Ace trait. So not going to be Mordekaiser. And now that I have 2 out of 3 Leonas, I'd rather play her than like Nunu or something like that. Nunu, not terrible either, would also give me mascot trait, but oh well. And then look at this. Oh, I take a Bramble Vest intended for Leona. It actually gives me a 2-star Sivir. I was like, oh, seriously? It just got me 2-star Sivir? Ah, that's disappointing. Now, I could go to level 9 here, but like I have a lot of health right now, so I don't feel pressure to rush to level 9. Not immediately. I think I'm going to take my time. The other reason is there is someone who's playing Aphelios. They have Aphelios 2-star. It's that person, Aiko, and they already have an Aphelios 2-star, so I'm actually kind of hoping someone will knock them out of the lobby. Yeah, it's this person right here. this person right here. So you might be like, oh, well, maybe I can beat him and knock him out of the lobby. It's a ghost round. So even if I win, it does not affect whether they're out of the lobby or not, unfortunately. So, yeah, I'm kind of hoping this person will lose and be out of the lobby, and then that will put the Aphelioses back in the pool so that I can find them. Again, I would like to take out Senna and replace with Aphelios. Unfortunately, Urgot gets off an absolutely terrible ult. He hits, like, nothing. His second ult goes off too late. I put a Spear of Shojin on him so he'll cast faster. I'm hoping he might be able to get 2 casts off in these fights because, again, every time he does that is a chance to dredge up treasure. So, yeah. We'll keep pushing to level 9. I have lost the last 2 rounds in a row, but I still have an awful lot of HP, so I'm not too concerned. And, oh, look at that. Someone did knock the Aphelios player out of the lobby. Excellent. So now those Aphelioses go back into the pool, and I'll have better chances to find those units. I was also doing a little bit of shuffling around here because one of these people had a Shroud of Stillness, and I was hoping to avoid getting shrouded. I am trying to position so units are next to Janna. I mean, that might make sense. Janna's ability gives benefits to units that are next to, that are standing next to her. But there is a real risk to this because when your units clump up like that, you might remember that one round where someone had a 2-star Mordekaiser and the building just hit my clumped units and everything died. So you do have to be pretty careful with Janna. I would definitely not recommend having every unit clump up if possible because there's a lot of AoE damage in this particular set. Fortunately, we win that round. And it wasn't really that close. So looks like we will be able to hit level 9. And hey, we have way more health than everyone else in the lobby. So we probably have a top 2 finish locked in here. And we should be able to get much stronger because we're finally going to be able to roll here on level 9. We want to hit 2-star Janna. We want to hit 2-star Leona. And then we want to put in Aphelios if possible. So now I'm going to swap back over here. All right, quick word about Janna, since Janna is another one of the new units in this set. Janna is the champion augment she's the champion that I have the champion augment for. Her abilities are Forecaster plus Civilian plus Spellslinger. The Spellslinger does not factor into this game, although she's a good fit for some of the Star Guardian Corps team compositions for that same reason. Spellslinger, Star Guardian, etc. So Forecaster is a trait that changes from game to game. By the way, here I'm going to take the Dragon's Claw, and I'm going to look to put that Dragon's Claw and Bramble Vest on Leona. I'm hoping I can 2-star her, and then she'll just... Well, I have to find another Sivir, but as soon as I find another Sivir, I'll transfer that over. Anyway, Janna's ability, well, we'll come back to Janna in a second. Let's do the roll down here. So I'm going to grab these units. There's Janna 2-star. That's big because my champion augment doubles her Forecaster benefit. There's 2-star Alistar. There is another Samira. I want to hold Samira's because I have the potential to sell and replace the Samira and transfer items over to... what's his name, Aphelios, but I have to hit 2-star Aphelios for that. I'd rather have the items on a 2-star Samira than a 1-star Aphelios. So now we need to take some of these units out. I do need to get Aphelios on my board. Am I going to put him on the board in time? No, I'm actually too slow to get Aphelios on the board. Have to wait for that for another round. But I definitely should take Senna out and put Aphelios on the board. I can always use his crowd control gun, even if I don't want to use his one of his damaging guns. So anyway, yeah, our board definitely got a lot stronger there. We still have the 2-star Urgot. Now we have 2-star Janna. We have not managed to get 2-star Leona yet. I'm still hoping I can find one more. And yeah, so we punch right through that person, able to take them out. So we're making good progress here. And let's see, what else are we looking for? Again, I'm still trying to find that one last Aphelios. Then I'll transfer items over to him. Not finding it. There's another Janna, but I've already hit Janna. Oh, so many Jannas. We don't need that, though. But let's get Aphelios on the board. He is not itemized, so I'm going to take Binding Eclipse. That is his crowd control gun. I will swap him over to a different gun if I can hit it. By the way, we're able to finish itemizing the Zac. That's going to make Zac 2-star. And it looks like we're up against the Star Guardians board here. I'm actually kind of in a bad position as a ghost round, by the way. I'm kind of in a bad position because the Talia is going to hit basically my whole team with that clump. At least I did dodge the Shroud of Stillness, but like watch the Talia ultimate. It's going to like punch right through into the middle of my team and just do crazy damage. I was like, I probably should split up against this team. Aphelios gets awesome crowd control, but like this is actually a fairly close fight because this person has Thrill of the Hunt. But fortunately, I just barely managed to clutch this one out. Yeah, there we go. Thank goodness. To get back to Janna, though, video is about to end. Want to cover her ability. Janna's ability is Forecaster, her unique ability. Grants adjacent allies different buffs depending on the current weather. For this game, we have Windy Weather. Combat start, grant bonus attack damage and ability power to adjacent allies. At 2-star, it increases by 25 every 5 seconds. Now, that bonus is doubled by my champion augment, so she is giving 50 AD and 50 AP to adjacent allies, and that goes up every 5 seconds. So we've got the Sureshot units gaining 20 AD every 4 seconds. We've got the units standing next to Janna gaining 50 AD every 5 seconds. So the longer these fights go on, the stronger my units get. They just are going to become unbelievably powerful as the fights go on. Well, unfortunately, I have not managed to hit the 2-star Aphelios, so he still has the CC gun instead of his damaging gun. But Samira's holding the damage load just fine. We have a ton of crowd control between Urgot's Tidal Waves and Janna's Tornado and the whatever the gun's name is that Aphelios is using. I can't remember what the names of his guns are because it's still early in the set. So when we just obliterate that person, it wasn't even close. And I'm able to win the lobby with about 50 health remaining. So definitely a high roll game here. The Urgot in particular, I hit the Urgot so easily. I also hit Samira 2-star with like no rolling at all. It was really weird. I did not hit any Sureshot units whatsoever until I hit level 8. And then I kind of found all the Sureshot units super easily once I was at level 8. So kind of a weird game, but hey, I'll take it. It's a ranked game. I'll take my 300 LP because this was a placement match. Anyway, though, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, take care, folks.